Hi, this is Ken Hauer, president of the Rubicon Trail Foundation. I promised you all an update regarding the resolution that is coming up for vote on May 2nd, and it was released to the public. So let's kind of talk about the process and what we're going to have happen on May 2nd. So first of all, I want to thank the county for pulling together a group of stakeholders, and those stakeholders were instrumental in the agreement that we were able to obtain. That was Amy Granite from Corva, Bob Sweeney from Jeepers Jamboree, Pierce Umlaw from Jeepers Jamboree USA, Colby Dorado from the Dorodoffs over in Wentworth Springs, Chris Prinz, president of RSSI, Jeremy Faber, president of RTP, Tim Green, and RTF. The stakeholders had a meeting back in early February before the DOT met with all of us. On that meeting, it was just to level set like what we were trying to get out of this. And so let's rewind just a little bit where we got here. We got here because on December 30th there was the closure due to storm. There was really nothing said specifically, like there was no reason other than at least at first there was no reason at all. Then there was a reason that it was because of atmospheric river or whatever. And the Rubicon Trail Foundation vigorously opposed this closure. There was nothing written that authorized it in our minds. The only thing that was written at the time was the 2012 easement with the water quality, and of course, things like fire and stuff like that, which we're all used to. But that stuff is a given, but it's not really in writing. But other than that, there's no reason that the Rubicon Trail can be closed that is written. And so, because of that, the county had to retroactively on January 10th have pass a measure to close the trail back to December 30th retroactively because of how it was done. So that did our actions cause us to be where we are? Yeah, I'm gonna be very frank. Yes, it was, but I'm gonna say ultimately it's a good thing. It's been very nerve wracking. I know all of the other stakeholders. We've had our meetings, and it's been, yeah, it's been stressful. It's the Rubicon Trail. It's the greatest trail in the world, and it means a lot to a lot of people, not just us, but people all over the world. Um, and so it's really important. And so, uh, based off of that resolution on January 10th, Lori Parlin, who is the BOS for that area, said, "Hey, let's revisit the resolution from 2013, which is 0152013." And I'll actually put a link at the bottom of this so that you can look it up if you want to read it. Uh, So, the Department of Transportation decided in early May, I believe it was the February 13th, that they were going to have a meeting with the stakeholders. All of the stakeholders were there. Now, we met in advance, and we all met on a Zoom call, and we talked about all the things that were important to us and before we went into the meeting. And I will say that that was extremely, extremely important that all of the stakeholders were not arguing amongst themselves, but trying to help the county come up with a solution that we could all live with. And uh, I felt I did not attend. John Arns attended on my behalf, but I felt really good that all of the stakeholders had a very similar vision, and so it certainly made it a lot easier. But unfortunately, the original draft that came out was not ideal. So let's just put it that way. So there were some things that we opposed in that first, and by we I mean all the stakeholders. We once again we got together and we talked about what we were willing to concede or what we were okay with versus what things we were adamantly against. And I can tell you, like Pierce at Jeep Jamboree USA was absolutely 100% not for any closure longer than 7 days, and we agreed with that assessment. The original draft had the potential to be 90 days, where it was reevaluated every 7 days whether to remain closed. And so that was something that was important to him, and everybody contributed towards the conversation for sure. What was very important to the foundation is that the county respected the RS-2477 rights. The Rubicon Trail is a public road. It's not a county road. I know everybody says it's a county road. It is a county, it's a public road, not a county road. And because of that, that's why all the maintenance work is done by the Green Sticker Fund, the OHMBR Sticker Fund, and not the DOT Road Fund. And in 2013, Ed Knapp, County Council at the time, wanted to make sure that that was preserved. The original document referenced the vehicle code. The original draft referenced the vehicle code 942.5, which we've once again opposed strongly, that the Rubicon Trail is not a county road. They can by being a public road, and I'm trying to gain my thoughts here, but by being a public road, the county is not responsible in the same way that a regular county road is. If a county road has a problem, right, somebody crashes into a tree, 3 people crash in a tree, they're gonna fix it. Guardrails, slow the speed down. They have to do something, and the county definitely doesn't want the liability of what could happen on the Rubicon Trail, and so we really felt strongly about that. The next thing that was strongly opposed by the group was magic wand closures. Nobody wants a magic wand closure, i.e., I don't like what's going on, let me wave a magic wand. It's very important. And that's kind of what happened. That is what happened on December 30th. It was somebody waved a magic wand and said, hey, we need to close the trail because of X, Y, and Z. Let's kind of look at it this way. If you're a river rafter, there are river rafters that literally can't wait until the river is at a dangerous level for mere people like myself. Like, I would never do it. But there are people that love to do it. They want to see the river going at 10,000 or 20,000 cubic feet per second. And there's nobody goes, oh gosh, we need to close the river because somebody might get hurt. Really? Never happens. Me, I want to go when I can sit in my floaties and, on a rubber raft with a cocktail and float slowly. I don't want to go in that, but there are people that do. Snow wheeling is the same kind of thing. There is a culture of people who like to go snow wheeling. A lot of my friends love to go snow wheeling. I used to go snow wheeling all the time. Didn't matter if it was a blizzard, snowing profusely, a sunny day. It didn't matter. I just love going, especially when I was younger. So it's important that this kind of recreation is available. But the main thing that is a magic wand closure is when does the magic wand get waved? 2 days before a Jeepers Jamboree? Because something happened? Who knows? And that's the kind of thing that we did not want to have in this document. Let's see. So those were the main points. Oh, and the final point was it said that the Department of Transportation director could add a designee, and we felt that no, it shouldn't just be any designee, because when does the designee get designeed to the designee until pretty soon, somebody that doesn't know anything about what they're doing is tasked to close the most famous trail in the entire world. So we wanted to make sure that was done by somebody knowledgeable. So we made a bunch of comments to that effect, and the foundation took all those comments from the stakeholders, and our attorney, Jesse Barton, met with David Livingston, the county council, and one of his deputy counsels, Daniel, and we went over. He went over all of this with them, and they said that they would come back with something. There was a lot of good points they said that were made, and they would come back with something else, and they did. And I really want to thank them for listening to everything that all of the stakeholders had said, and crafting a document that we can live with. So the 4 points that they changed on the document, and I'm just going to put it here so I can see it real quick. So it now states that the resolution is authorized by the Department of Transportation Director or the Deputy Director designee. So now there's a very specific designee, and that's great. The other thing was that we didn't want to have the trail closed for any more than 7 days. Like 7 days was the max. This actually mirrors what's in the easement from 2012 when the water conditions are met to close the trail. They have to do it every 7 days. And so we wanted something to mirror it. And so they did add that. So now it says the director may temporarily close all our portion of the Rubicon Trail for a period of no more than 7 consecutive days. And then it says subsequently at the end of 7 days, the closure will automatically expire. However, the director may continue the closure for another 7 days by providing justification via notice that is continued that the closure is necessary for one of the reasons stated in paragraph A, which I'm going to get to in a minute. Okay. So, one of the things that we were really cared about was the county preservation of their RS 2477 rights. So it previously had stated when the conditions in the California Street and Highway Code 942.5 are met. That has been removed. So let's go through the three states that would cause the Rubicon Trail to be closed, or actually 4. So sorry. Okay, the first one, when the director determines that conditions exist that warrant the closure to be in compliance with the easement granted by the United States Forest Service, and that was back in 2012. Nothing has changed in that section. There were 8 appellants that were part of that agreement, and that agreement is in perpetuity. It's not going to change. So that is still there, no change whatsoever. So the following reasons, I would not characterize them as a change. I would characterize them as solidified reasons that are valid for closing the trail. Okay? And those are: when the director determines that a closure is necessary for the protection of the public health and safety during maintenance or repair. That clause is in there so that the DOT can close all or a section of the trail if there is a helicopter flying rock, which we have seen the trail close in sections exactly for that. Nobody wants a rock falling out of a bucket and landing on a rig and hurting or killing somebody. There's really no change there. It's just now written, and it's a written reason, and it's a valid reason. Helicopter flights, the county has had them like once every 3 or 4 or 5 years. It's not very often, and they're usually during the week. That's reason number 2. Reason number 3, the conditions in Vehicle Code 2110E. That is under the conditions of a parade. That is what the county uses to close for the Jeepers Jamboree and Jeep Jamboree events in July and early August. So once again, nothing has actually changed. It's just written in there. And then the final reason, and this reason, once again, has always existed, but it hasn't really been written into the document, and now it is. And that is during a local, state, or federal emergency proclaimed by the county, state of California, or the federal government. And we all know what that is, fire. Um, so, um, so really, there is absolutely no change in anything that we have experienced previously, other than the December 30th closure. What the reasons were given for the December 30th closure are not in this document, and that's a good thing. Magic wands, um, magic wands are bad. Nobody knows who the next person is that's going to be in charge or whatever, that's going to be waving the magic wand. And so that's why it was so important to all the stakeholders. So, and that's why it was important to us. So all of the reasons here are valid, infrequent, and still preserving the RS 2477 rights as a public road. That we feel has been done, which is great. So the Board of Supervisors are going to be voting on this on Tuesday at 9 a.m. I posted the address a few days ago but I guess I'll put it in the comments of this YouTube video. It's at 9 o'clock in the morning on May 2nd. Please come out. If you're free and you can make it, come on out. Tell the Board of Supervisors, the DOT, County Council, which will be there, that you really appreciate them working with all of us in order to come up with a document that we feel works for the trail, it works for the users, it works for the county, and it worked for all of the stakeholders, which it's always nice when everybody is on the same page. And so that's what I got. Hopefully stop by, say hi if you see me at the May 2nd meeting. I'd love to say hello. That's all I got. Thank you so much, and see you on May 2nd.